The trade map mode is the next map. The colors here actually correspond to centers of trade, which are basically little provinces where there's kind of a market. The closest one we can see here is in Antwerp, which is this little bag with gold. And whenever you click on these, you get to see this, which I'll get to. But basically, you can generate money from trade. The map mode also shows the economy of each province. For instance, Glamorgan here in Wales produces iron. East Anglia here produces cloth. Ulster in Ireland produces grain. The value of the goods are very important, and they can be useful for other things as well. The colors, of course, represent kind of the influence of each center of trade. So this one in Paris, so most of France trades through Paris, but southern parts of France and Switzerland trade through Liguria in Genoa. Spain has its own, Portugal has its own, of course. Venice has a large one. The Ottoman Empire has one here in Constantinople. These lines are a new feature in Heir to the Throne. They're a trade league. Certain merchant republics can create a league, basically, and they have special trading rights for anybody who's a member. As it turns out, England is a member of the Hanseatic League, which is a northern European trade league. So we get certain advantages, and it's nice when we're trading through their merchants and when we're trading through our own. If we have one, which I don't think London has one at this time. Diplomatic map mode is basically to see who likes us, who hates us, and who has a special relationship to us in various ways. So if you click on a country, the dark green is them. This kind of blue-green color usually represents countries you have a royal marriage with, vassals, things of that nature. The greener color is an ally. Portugal's an ally. And these colors basically represent that nobody really cares about us one way or the other. That'll quickly change, and countries that hate us will go red. Countries we're at war with go bright red. We can see not only our own relationships, but the relationships of everybody else. So Lithuania and Russia are not friends with each other. And the Ottoman Empire has a lot of influence among Muslims, but very quickly countries like Hungary will grow to hate them because of religious differences. Region map mode is really confusing, but it is interesting. Basically, there are certain events and things like that that key off of areas, and so we have this area here in Oxfordshire, which is part of the British Isles, Mercia, I have no idea what that is, and it's part of Europe, the continent. If you go down here to Tripolitania, it's part of North Africa, which is a region that kind of encompasses this part, and Africa. There are certain other events that are basically keyed off of that, but they're kind of confusing, and since the zones of regions can overlap, you get all these mashed up colors. Culture map mode is, of course, the culture of a given province. It's similar to religion. People who are not the culture of your nation are not going to get along as well with you, and it's based on culture groups, so it's not quite as unified as it seems. For instance, you have Scotland and England the same color. That's because they're part of the British culture group, whatever that means. But down here in England, the province is English. Up north it would be Scottish, and American is actually considered part of the English culture group. You notice Wales and Ireland and parts of Brittany are all the same culture group. They're part of the Celtic group, but Wales is Welsh, Cornwall is Cornish, Ireland is Irish, and Brittany is Breton. So they're not all the same. Likewise, Portuguese and Spain are part of the same Iberian culture group, but of course, they're not the same culture. Italians, same kind of thing. Germans, again, same kind of thing. Spheres of influence are kind of a new thing. Basically, a powerful nation can expand their sphere of influence to a country that's smaller than they are. For instance, we may be able to expand our influence into Scotland. No, we can't, because they're too large. compared to us. But if we were to annex Scotland, we could probably put our influence into Ireland. And that way, if anybody messes with them in any way, and that includes declaring war or even engaging in peaceful diplomatic negotiations, then we can basically go to war with anybody who messes with them, and we can get prestige and various things from doing that. Revolt map mode, it's very useful, and it's also, for some reason, a very new feature. Basically, shows you at a glance which provinces are unhappy and which ones are likely to raise up against you and send revolts around that will pillage the land and be a general pain in the butt. Fortunately, England is very culturally homogenous at this point, and there's a lot of stability. Henry VIII is a good king. There wasn't a lot of turmoil at that time until he started messing with the Reformation, so really nothing's going on right now. The Colonial map mode is the final map mode. This shows trade winds, which basically make it harder to sail through a sea zone in a particular direction. So it's a lot easier to go south to South America than it is to just sail directly west to North America. And it also shows which countries of the world have a port and which ones don't. So, for instance, Lithuania, no port. Poland, though, does have a port up in Danzig. So most countries will have sea access. The ones that don't really don't care about colonizing anyway. So we'll go into political, and that's the basic overview of the map modes. And we can go into things in a little more detail next time.